Today's topic, we are talking about remote and the parallel Selenium test. That's the scope of it. We will not go outside the scope today. All right, and if you are very new to Selenium, you should understand this for sure. There are three big Selenium components which is available in two versions. The one is IDE, which is only does record and playback, and it runs on Firefox, which you can use as like a starter, and we can write quick scripts and throw it away. Why do I say throw it away? Because it is not quite useful. You cannot do a lot of logics. You cannot do exception handling. Taking snapshots are painfully tough. But the solution, what you want to implement if you're working on a corporate organization, is preferably you run it on a WebDriver, which is the second, and which is the beautiful hardcore engine which is available right now in the Selenium component, and which can be developed across 7 different languages. We prefer to do it in Java. You can run on any browsers today, and which is massive than what you see in UFT or HPQTP. Only it runs in local machine. That's a whole challenge. WebDriver cannot be executed across different machines. But you can parameterize, handle exception if something happened wrongly, and you can take a snapshot, which is good. But the whole interesting parameter of today is how do we convert the WebDriver script to a remote execution? I know how to execute it locally, but that's not enough. Why it's not enough? We are talking, let's say that you work for an organization, you fairly have about 2,000 test automated scripts, and you have to run them every day. If you run it in your machine, is it possible to complete in 8 hours? Absolutely not. You should run them parallelly somewhere else. How do we run it? So that's a whole engine which is called Selenium Grid, which we'll be seeing today. But good, if you run them remotely, only one machine, not enough. So parallel machine. You scale and distribute scripts across many environments. I used to work in a project in somewhere in 2008 for Cisco in Canada. And interestingly, it is being a product. We have to be testing that application in multiple OS. Mac, Linux, Red Hat, SUSE Linux, and then we also have to run it in Windows. Windows multiple flavor like Windows XP those days, and Windows Server 2003, all those. So interestingly, if you have to have a flavors execution, then certainly WebDriver is not something will work for you. You can do it only once, and Grid is the option that we will look at today. So before we go to the grid, we will quickly look at the WebDriver code. How does it look, right? And so that you all know what we are trying to do. And here is the test which I'm going to do it today, and the application I'm going to use is one of the open source ERP application, which I'm going to simply make it like login and log out, right? I wrote the code already using Selenium WebDriver, which will launch the Firefox, wait for 30 seconds at the maximum, and I saw that in forums people use it incorrectly. Please do understand, if you set the maximum timeout once, it's enough. Don't try to keep resetting this value 100 times. It's not something like a thread.sleep. This is an implicit way you do it once, and please do it once when as soon as you launch your browser. And this is a code to maximize. This is to launch the browser with the particular URL and logging into the username, password, clicking on the login button. Then also I wanted to take a snapshot which will be taken in the testly folder login.jpg, and then finally log out and then close the browser. This is a code. I'm going to quickly run this and show you. Okay, my machine is not several gigabytes, so you will not see them very quickly running, but please keep a note on it. It will be coming up, and it came up. It maximized, it loaded the URL, it's logging in. Pretty fast than me today. Very good, logged out and closed. Can we see the snapshot? We go and the snapshot is taken at my mission time, which is 7:09, and I'm clicking on it. Oh, it logged in very well. This is what exactly we want. Super. But this one ran only in my mission, so I'm deleting it for our future reference. So this is good, but what if I have to run it in multiple remote? So the first thing we have to learn is how Grid really works. The Grid works by the two different components. One is called Hub, other is called Node. So what is a Hub? Hub is a central point, so this will receive all your test requests. Like for example, like a test lead who takes all the inputs and then distribute them to the right nodes. So assume that I'm like a test lead. I hold all the 2,000 scripts. I'll be telling every day morning, you run this, you run this, you run this. So like the Hub is like a lead. Node is like you, individual mission, which can be a physical mission or a virtual mission that you register with me as a test lead, and I'm the one who is going to give you the job. So how about taking a better examples, right? What does a hub means really is, you all may know this example, right? What is this? It's absolutely an airport. So it has multiple terminal. One is a domestic terminal and the international terminal. You see a lot of flights. All these flights, let's take an example if it is a Bangalore airport, and all the flights which is supposed to fly in and out of Bangalore airport should be registered to the airport. You cannot just fly in and then get down. It cannot. You should be going to the airport authority and to the airport, and you should register yourself to begin with. Good. What does a hub means? It is a central point which register all the flight which is coming into my airport, which is a Bangalore airport, and you all get registered with me first so that I know which flight will be leaving when or coming when. So these are all something. Interestingly, I made an example here. International terminal, there is no flight right now, so we are going to see how that works. So quickly, what does the hub mean? Hub is a central point that will receive all the test requests and distribute them to the right nodes, right? So it will hand over to the right nodes. So what it should do, every single flight should register to the airport. So similarly, each node has to get itself registered. And the console, what is the meaning of console? Console will have to show something. So I should know which flights are came in, which flights are about to leave, isn't it? If you go to the airport, haven't you seen this? This is the hunt console. The console talks about what time and exactly what is the city from which coming, what is the flight number, what zone, and what is the status, right? These are the information that I need. The console is an interesting information which will show me all this physical mission which is connecting to me come from which IP address, right? Where are they from? What is the browser it's supposed to run, and how many browsers it can run, and are they running right now? What are they doing right now? So all this information can be connected in the console. So we need a console. We will also see a console very, very shortly. Okay, what next? The next is we all have to know, okay, I know how theoretically, but how do I see it practically? So we need to start a Selenium, right? And we should show us a hub. So where is the hub? And the node is available as a software. All the software is implemented under something called Selenium Server standalone jar file. And interestingly, this is a jar file. You should have two jar files if you're running in Java. So we have told you in the previous webinar as well, Selenium Java jar, which is for writing a code in Selenium in Java. This is for executing a Selenium code in Java. So you need to have this jar file. If you don't know what is jar file, please go back and take a look. It is an archive which contains all your, in this particular jar file contains all the class files which is compressed. So Selenium has distributed this file. This is open source. You just download and keep it in your local drive and start it. What do you wanted to start that? I want to start this jar file. This should be an executable jar. That's the meaning. Java-jar says you run this jar file. And that jar file, what as the role of the jar file should be executed as a hub. What is a node? Node is nothing but a port, right? I think the syntax is wrong. So should be read as a port. So the port is 4444. This is a default port. It is not mandatory for you to give that port. If you don't give it, also it takes a 4444. In case if you want to run more than one hub in your mission, then you should start one of them in 4444, another one different port. And how do you see a console? Console can be seen as HTTP. This is the IP address of your hub, or it could be server name of the hub where it is running, and the port, which is nothing but 44. If it is running in my machine, it should say localhost 4444 grid/console, and that should see a hub. Let's see a hub very quickly now. So I'm going on to the folder where I have all the software jar files. Here I prepared a jar file for you guys. Here is the jar file you have. You see that this is a jar file. This is absolutely a jar file. We just say the executable jar file. Default it's got gestured. So let's run them and see in a command prompt. Let me type a command prompt. The command prompt is ready. Java-jar Selenium. Okay, don't need Java, we need a server. So type, we got this. So I'm asking the Selenium server standalone jar file to be started, but as what? Role as what? Hub. Enter. You see that the grid server is starting, and as soon as it started, you can go to your console and see the console. At this moment, console is running in this version. There is no browser registered. It is like an airport which doesn't have any flights right now. So it shows an airport which is blank. Nobody is registered with me right now. Very good. So I could see the console. So which is fine. And this is what we talk about, the console. We will come back to the console in airport with a lot of flights as you keep doing the next thing. So I hope you are clear. What is the meaning of a hub? Hub is a central point which will receive all your requests for the flights coming up and going. You should register all the flights with that. So hence, in our case, it will be each of the browser, each of the machines has to come to the hub and register itself. Otherwise, I cannot able to run the script on that particular machine. Fantastic. We know how to start this. We saw that. And interestingly, I forgot to tell you this. So if you see here, I didn't put the node. Automatically, you see that particular port of this particular hub is 4444. In case if you wanted to run it, let's see if you want to run it in different one, you can say hyphen port. Let me say 4455. So I started the hub in a different port, which is 4455. If you go back and see it, it's not going to exist because it is 4444 doesn't exist anymore. It's 4455. So here is where the hub is running. So fantastic. We learned about it, how to start a hub, and we know what is a hub. The next one. So we also have to know the capabilities, right? Before we go to the next one, we also have to know the capabilities. So let's learn the capabilities. What are the capabilities? What is the capability of you? So my capability is I can eat so much, or I can take a weight of so much, like this. So what is the capability of a browser? The browser says I run from this particular platform, which is nothing but your OS. I am eligible to run from a Linux. My browser name is Chrome and version is so and so. And we have two types of capabilities, right? Let's take a flight and you go to any airport every 9 o'clock and you wanted to, let's say, fly to London, right? And from Bangalore you wanted to fly to London Heathrow. And somebody asks you, okay, sir, and you are planning to travel. How do you want to travel? Okay, you see a class. I like to travel by a business class. What time, sir? It's 11:30 p.m. Okay, so that is what you wish to do it. Those are called desired capabilities. I wish I wanted to travel for a business purpose to London Heathrow on a business class on a flight at 11:30 p.m. today. Right? So that is called desired. What is actual? You may not find a flight which is at 11:30 or just after 11:30, or you may have a flight but you don't have a business class, or you may have a business class 11:30 but it is not for London, right? So in those cases, the actual capabilities are physical flights which will carry you, which has the matching capabilities for you. So the desired is what you wish, actual is what really available. So you may wish to fly by what you wanted to. You may get to land. As you wanted to go in business class 11:30, will you travel to your flight towards somewhere else, taking you to Singapore? You may not, because you have a purpose to travel only to a specific destination. But what if you think you got a flight to London Heathrow 11:30 p.m. business class is full, right? Or that flight doesn't have a business class. What do? You sacrifice and say, okay, that's fine. Any class is fine, right? So that's exactly mean you're optional. You see, version is only optional. What that mean? You can say, I want to run my test script in Windows machine and Chrome. What version of Chrome? Any version of Chrome. So you're saying optional. I don't mind. I don't care what version it has. Just run it on that particular version. So that is what we call as a optional parameter. And outside the capabilities platform, browser name and version. Version is the only optional, rest or mandatory for you to give. I believe you got an idea about the capabilities. We'll deep dive as we go further. Now, interestingly, what we wanted to show you is, now we know that we understood the meaning of capability. Now, Babu helped me to understand, I wanted to start a node, right? How do we start a node? So let's go and start a node. So let's go back and take the same jar file. We don't have to do anything else. So we start another command prompt, Java -jar Selenium -server, right? This is a jar file. What is the role? The role is going to be either node, and we say port is default port is going to be 5555. When I say just role node, it also starts. Let's see what it starts. It started. You see that the port which started is where? 5555, right? 5555, right? Exactly, it is going to that. But interestingly, where the node, this is, I started a flight, but where the flight has to go, I need to tell the airport. Yeah, I forgot to tell you the airport. Then should I not put the airport? Yes, you have to tell the airport. Now hub, I should tell where the hub is, right? Exactly, you look at the command here, it talks about where the hub is. So you should say hub is, where's the hub? HTTP colon, where is it running? It's running on my local host, or you tell the IP address. What is the port in which running? We change to 4455 and you say grid. And what I should do with the grid, I should register with the grid, right? That's how you get yourself registered. Now, interestingly, what happened is this particular node is, this machine is getting registered to that particular one. Let's confirm if it got registered. Very good, it got registered. And interestingly, you saw there is 11 plus 11, 22 browsers registered. What this mean? The remote control is the older version of the Selenium, which also by default get registered because grid is a component which is shared between both of them. When you say node, role is a node, node is a common node for both remote control and WebDriver newer version. So both shares a common. And that's how you get to see all the browsers. So by default, you get 1 IE and you get 5 Firefox, 5 Chrome by default. Babu, I don't want to run all this. I want to run only for WebDriver, the newer version. How do we do that? So let's have to clean up before, as it takes time for, even though we stopped it, still it doesn't get refreshed very quickly because you see that it could not connect. It will take, because if you see the configuration, the cleanup cycle will be taking so much time before it doesn't really come up. So hence it will take time for us to see it. So let's go back, and simply what you can do is you can restart your hub also for this demo purpose. Don't do it in real time. Just for a demo purpose we will do it so that the hub is clean. The hub is clean now, but we wanted only the node to be running for, only for what? Only for the WebDriver. So instead of the node, you make this as a WebDriver, which is WD. Is a syntax. So let me insert hub. All right, let's start now. It's supposed to give only for WebDriver. How many browsers in that case? 11 browsers. Same 11 browsers, but instead of 22, we'll get only 11 because it runs only WebDriver. It doesn't support remote control. If you happen to watch the Selenium conference which happened in Bangalore, there is a very clear clipping given to tell why we should not run both remote control and WebDriver in the same hub, because it conflicts each other. And as you have only one IE possible, if you run a remote control and the remote control will not know the WebDriver is going to share, due to which both conflicts and both will fail. It is not a preferred option to do that, so recommend you to run only one at a time. So we saw about this. Let's come back. So we saw very good. And also you want to run a specific browser. You can say -browser, browser name and platform, and how many times that browser have to run. We'll see an example shortly on that. Right? Now we go back to this. Now you see at what I tried doing, I tried registering a new node to the console. The node is an international flight coming in. I registered to this airport. Hence you see one flight, which is nothing but we saw the browsers coming in. Very good. The new node is ready to serve new requests from the users. What are the browsers it can support? It can support 5 browsers, which is for 5 Chrome and 5 Firefox and 1 IE, so totally 11 browsers. But you should also know the capabilities of the node. What are the capabilities of the node? It runs, because this particular browsers all run only in which platform? Only in Windows, because my machine is only Windows. So that's how it is, right? And if you see that this is too much of options to write, we can also write in a .json file. JSON file allows us to hold all the information one time. If you click on this, this is going to open. And meanwhile, we will also, for demo purposes, I'm going to start and stop for only for, let's say you wanted to see only Firefox running, nothing else you wanted to see. So as I say, I'm going to restart my hub, and then the node, instead of all 11, we will only start a particular browser. So I have to say -browser, browser name, capital, N capital, Firefox, comma, platform equal to Windows. And if you wanted to run only, let's say 3 Firefox, max instances equal to 3. So hyphen browser name is Firefox, platform is Windows, and 3 browsers only I need to run. And it got everything done. And let's confirm if we could get only 3 browsers now. How many Firefox you got now? Only 3, because we said only 3 to be registered. So it got 3 registered. Like 3 flights of Jet Airways got registered to this airport. Like that it get to see now. Fantastic. So we are ready to be doing this now. So we got registered everything. Similarly, I told you, instead of writing so much of information as you saw here, what is the browser name and platform, all the max instances, you can also create something called a JSON file. JSON file, you can go and type it one time and say where is the version, what is the port, what is the IP address, how many times you want to restart, what is the hub port. All this you can save it as a .json file, right? And you keep it, and then you can come back and type this -node config and config, because this will help us to keep easy management. There are people who doesn't understand Java and they wanted to maintain the configuration. They can configure into the .json file, which is a flat file. They don't have to come to the configuration and do it, and just have to restart the node after you do the change. So that is exactly it is. Okay, Babu, this still looks very difficult. I have to start everything. It looks, there is a tool which has been newly started. So I'm going to kill my node and hub, right? I'm going to stop all this, and I'm going to ensure that it is all cleaned up. So go to the console. Now you see the console will not have anything because I stopped the hub. So there is nothing running. So there is a new tool available which has been released and called WebGrid. So you can go to the seleniumhq.org. There is a WebGrid available. You download the WebGrid. There is a jar file available in the WebGrid. Just double click, but you should have Java installed in your machine. So automatically this gets started. Now let's say assume that I wanted to start in 4455 my hub. So I start the hub. So automatically click on the start hub. That's all you exactly have to do. So automatically the hub gets started. So we'll confirm whether the hub gets started. Yeah, it got started, but it runs on 2.42.2 because that is what the released version was. They have not made the patch for the latest version yet. Assume that you wanted to create a new mission and specifically for Chrome, right? You want to run. How many Chrome you want to run? Let's say I want to run only 2 Chrome. And how many max instances? I'll say 3. The difference between max instance and max session is max instance is how many browsers maximum it can have. Maximum session is how many sessions the browser can open at the maximum. That's exactly it is. So I'm going to say max instance is 3 and add it. So you'll see 3 maximum instances, which is running on 5555. Let's confirm, and you got 3. Excellent. Now you want one more. Let's say you can create another node, and specifically let's say Firefox. I want maximum 1 and maximum 1, and let's say add, right? It automatically picks a 5556. Let's confirm, you got 1. So exactly it is running on my local host 5556. OS is any browser because we didn't specify the platform, and here is it as. Perfect. So this is how it can be very simplified. This is a tool available, but it has got defects. This is an open source tool. We have been trying with this. We've got a lot of defects. My recommendation is until it is fixed and been clean, I would recommend go and start in command prompt. If you're starter, if you're coming in doing this particularly newly, then I would prefer to do this here. But however, if you're preparing for an interview or if you're going and looking for new opportunities, my recommendation is learn it in the command prompt. That is the best to do because most of the interview questions start from there, right? So now we understood how to start the hub. So now flights are registered and all the flights are ready. Now what is next? That's where we are going to, right? So we learned both JSON and WebGrid, right? And now what happens is multiple hub. Okay, I can have 2 airports. I have a Chennai airport and a Bangalore airport. Or we can have, like in Mumbai, if you see there is 2 airports, 2 separate airports. One is on the domestic airport, which is distant from the international airport. So you can have 2 hubs separately. Babu, I have 2 applications that I have to test. Okay, instead of creating 1 hub, you create 2 hubs separately. One is running on 4444 port, one is on 4455 port. So 2 ports, so it can support 2. Or Babu, I have a same application, but I don't want to test everything in a single hub. Perfect. You start in one mission, one hub, another mission, another another hub, and both you control it separately. For example, I want to run all smoke test in one hub or regression test in another hub. But it is not a good practice. Don't start like 10 hubs and 10 tests in separately. One test per each hub is not a good idea. Hub is like a airport, right? You cannot have for every single flight, I cannot have an airport. So airport is somewhere you have all the possible flights coming in. There is a specific need, like why Mumbai has split domestic and international, because it's serving different type of customers. So similarly, unless you see a necessity, don't split them into two different hubs, right? But it is possible, but you can do it as well, right? So before we next one, so we have to quickly learn. We learned the capabilities. Now the interesting information what we wanted to learn is how do we make this work, right? You showed us, and I could see that. What is by the way, what is this command prompt shows? What is this capabilities called? Is it desired or is it actuals? Desired is what you wish to have, the flight you wanted to travel, and actual is the flight what it has. One of the flight has only economic class, that is what it is. And this is called actuals because this is what really this mission has. This mission can run only 3 Chromes, and obviously it has a Chrome and it has a Firefox, and it installed Firefox, and it is on a Windows mission. That's how it is. That's how it is logged to. These are called actual capabilities, whatever you see on the console, because these are mission real information. Now what is that called? Desired capabilities is what I wish to run. I want my test to run. I wanted to fly in this flight. So the capabilities at which you wish the script to run. Browser, I want to run them in Firefox. Platform, OS, I want this test to be running in Windows. Version, as I told, any version is fine. So these are the meaning of the desired capability, what you wish that test to be running. What is the syntax? Desired capabilities, create a new instance of the desired capabilities. Simple method, set browser name, Firefox. Set platform, platform.linux, because this is a constant, right? Platform.linux. It cannot be in double quotes. It takes the Linux object of that particular one, right? So desired capabilities we talked about. So let's see an example also quickly. Now, before we go to further, we also have to learn 2 more things. And in the previous example in the Eclipse, what I shown you is, I told you how to run it locally. Now we cannot run them anymore in local machine because this only allows me to run in this machine. I want to run in different machine. How do we run it? Then we have to use a concept called remote WebDriver. Remote WebDriver will allow me to run in a different machine, different box. That is exactly what it is all about it, right? So by that way, I will be able to do it. But I need to know where is that particular WebDriver is, right? I'm the hub. From here, I need to run it in some other machine. So I need to know the particular hub address where it is, what I wish to stay. So this is the hub address as an input and what you wanted to wish, right? What is the flight information you wanted to travel to, and where is the airport? So airport you need to know, and you need to know to your flight. Otherwise you will not go there and run from there, correct? So that's exactly a remote WebDriver. The last challenge is in the WebDriver, you are taking a snapshot locally. Right? In remote WebDriver, it is my script is not running here. It is running somewhere else. I need to take a snapshot from that machine. So there is a concept called augment. Augment is a concept which is implemented in the remote. So augment will convert your driver to the remote file conversion driver. So you take the snapshot not using a local driver, rather it is an augmented driver which will be a remote executing driver, but the file will be transferred to your local machine. So we'll see that also. So quickly grab this, and these are the 3 things. I'll quickly repeat what I did. So the first one, what you have to do is you need to have a desired capability, what I wish to run this script as. And I have to convert my WebDriver, which cannot be any more local. So I should convert in the remote WebDriver. I need to tell where is the hub, what are the desired capabilities. What are the desired capabilities? I already wrote it. And here is the desired capabilities. Very good. Is this enough? Enough. But if you want to take a snapshot, it will only have it locally, but I want to take it remotely. Hence, I will add a new line. Only this line of code need to be added, which is augmenting the driver. The last code is, let's understand. Now let's say that you got a flight and you want to travel by the flight, as we say 11:30 p.m. London Heathrow. You go and see you got a flight. What do? Your desired capabilities, what you wanted to fly, and you saw the flight at the airport. What do? You will start flying. So exactly that is the meaning. When the desired capabilities meets the actual capabilities, the node get allocated and the script will be executed in that mission. The next one is, for example, you do not find a flight that matches your wish list. You wanted to fly at 11:30 in a business class, but you don't have a business class. So what happens in that case? If there is no matching actual capabilities, it throws the exception. It says, oh, I don't have the matching capabilities. You have to either wait or you have to change the expectations. You have to wait for the new flight with that particular expectation. You have to come tomorrow, or you say I'm okay with going with the non-business class. So those are called a combination. When the desired capabilities doesn't have a matching, it throws an exception. Okay, that is an interesting case. What if there are, you wanted to fly to London 11:30 p.m. but you didn't tell which flight? There is a two flights. There is a United flights. There is also a Jet Airways available. What if you have two flights? Which one you go? Generally, the concept in which the Selenium Grid works is it automatically allocates to the first matching node. It allocates to the first matching node. Whichever flight get registered to the airport first, it gets registered. So hence, the one which gets registered first will be allocated and it get executed. So you fly on the first flight. That's how it works. So let me repeat very quickly for those who has to know it. If you have a desired capability that met, then the script is executed on the machine that you wish to run. The next one is you do wanted to run it in Chrome Linux, but there is no Linux machine, so it will throw an exception saying there is no matching Linux available. The next one is you want to run in Chrome and Linux, but there is two Linux machine available, both with Chrome. Which machine will it run? It will run on the first machine, whichever having the matching capability based on which were registered first. Very good. So we learned all the combination now. Let's go to the next one. Let's see a quick demo in a local machine. So I believe you all understood what are the three combinations we have to do. So let's create a very quick script. So I'm going to make a copy of the script, Control V and copy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this script to run as a local. So instead of this remote, I'll make this as a remote and just change the class. Okay, we are good to go. What is the first one we have to do? We have to make our desired capabilities. So desired capabilities. So we will keep desired capabilities. So desired capabilities is nothing but it is coming from your remote. This is the package, right? DC new desired capabilities. If you don't know how to do is control space will take you to all the ones. I will show you. You don't have to type everything. So desired capability. What is the desired capability? Say DC dot set. What is my first one is set capability. Set capability. What is my capability that you wanted to set? So exactly the platform. So let's say platform dot. What is the platform you want to run? Let's say I want to run in Windows because I have only Windows here. So I want to run in platform Windows. So next one is browser name. Set browser name. What is a browser name? It takes a string. So you say Firefox. Perfect. So you got the desired capabilities. You want to run in a Windows machine, a Firefox, right? So which means you don't need this code. You have to write a remote WebDriver. So let's write a remote WebDriver. WebDriver driver equal to new remote WebDriver. That's a code, right? If you don't know, you can just do it, and which will take two of them. As I told you, first is a URL, where is the airport, and what I wish to fly. So the first one is the URL is you have to create a URL, new URL, and you have to type the URL. So the URL can be typed something like, you can import it URL, which is nothing but java.net, and you type HTTP. We'll teach you in detail when you get to the regular classrooms, but as it is a demo, I'm going to copy paste for your. This is running on a local host, and the port which is running is 4455/, and you wanted to run under WD, and you have to say that is my hub. all right, and that is my IP address, and desired capability is nothing but DC is the object, so I say DC. So this is how you do this. So we did the second change. The first change is desired capability. Second one is desired capability. So interestingly, if you want to take a snapshot, as I told you, you need to take a snapshot. Extra line is you have to add that particular line of code as I told you, right? Exactly. This is the line of code, augmented driver, which is have to do it. I have the code. So let me copy that code for you to quickly do it. So now that's a code, augmented driver. So this will put you everything as such. So you see that the code is three things to do. You set the browser name, your local host, you set the remote web driver where it is. The last one is obviously to take a snapshot with an augmented driver. We are ready. Let's run the code. And you see that there is a hub started, and we will confirm it. There's a one Firefox available. Let's right click and run and run. Okay, that seems to be a problem. We will see what is the issue. Error forwarding the new sessions, the capabilities platform.windows is not available with a Firefox. The reason is we did not set this with a platform which says any. So let's make this code, because the desired capabilities to run it in Windows, but there is no platform with Windows. It's only having any. So hence, but you have a Firefox. But the problem is here is the OS is any, hence it is not matching, hence it's throwing an exception, something called there is no capabilities that can match Windows and Firefox, right? Instead of this, let's make dot platform dot any platform. So we can say that, and let's run it now. So we can refresh to see it if it is running. You see that it is hidden. If you keep the mouse, it says session executed. So it's supposed to launch. You saw the browser is getting launched, and you see that it is running. It logged in, and it logged out. Can we see if the snapshot is taken? Yes, we can see that in the test leaf folder. This is a login which is at 7:42. Now interesting information is, you know that I ran it locally because I wanted to make it simpler for you to see it. Now let's see and take an example. How do you run it remotely? How do you run it in a different machine? I don't have too many machines here, so I want to run and show you in a real cloud environment. So we'll go to a cloud environment now. So we'll see that is in a Sauce Lab. So what is the meaning of Sauce Lab? Sauce Lab is a cloud environment. They have all the possible combination of servers. So in my environment, I have only Windows. My application need to be tested in Mac, Linux, and it should be also executed in Android and iOS. In that combination, Sauce Labs provide you all the possible combinations of the browser. For example, in your office, you may not have an IE7 installed anymore. You might have an IE11, but you have to run it in IE7, 8 according to your customer. Then you don't have a choice. The best way is you go to the Sauce Labs, and they give you a lot of combination of test environment. Just use them, but you have to pay for it. But only they give you few 500 to 1000 minutes free for initial testing. Otherwise, you have to go and buy it. It is not very costly, but they give you a very fair advantage, different combinations of the browser. So only thing I forgot to tell you is, instead in Sauce Lab, when you say the WD Hub, this is your grid name. This is how you have to use Sauce Lab username and their API key, and this is the IP address. So I'll show you very quickly how this is done. You see it, I'm saying login to Sauce Lab. So I want to run in Firefox and Linux. The only change is this is my username, and this is the key, and this is the exact address. This is the hub of the Sauce Labs. So I go to the Sauce Labs and I logged in. I'll just confirm if I could log in. I did with Ganesh, so it is not with my login. So I will go and check the value. Yep, this is the value. I'll just copy this and put it here. Right? So I'm running with a different username. Right? So Ganesh test leaf, and here is the username, exactly. So what you will see is it will be running on the cloud network, which is running in somewhere in Dallas or Texas. So which will be the one which will be running. Right now there is no test running on that particular server. So let's right click and run it. Before do that, let's delete the snapshot. However, I named the snapshot here as a different log in Linux for you to understand, except there is no change in the code, exactly whatever we learned. Very good. It failed. It said something unreachable, maybe because of the address which is not available. So let's quickly confirm if we could log in. Right. Okay. You see that it started running. We see the full screen. We'll see the full screen which will be loading for us shortly. And this is running in somewhere in the Sauce Labs, which is in the US region. It will be looking at the screencast, which will be loading the live video for us now. It takes few seconds delay. Or it would have been very quick, would have completed the job. We'll confirm it. It took the snapshot. It actually logged in as you see it, but we'll confirm it. It creates a video automatically. So we'll see a video. Maybe my internet is not very quick today. We will, however, see the session shortly. It doesn't seems to show. Let's go back to the home page. Let's go back to the home page. Okay, we will come back to this again. You should be seeing the test actually. We should have completed. So we'll see the full screen one more time. Supposed to load the flash video. You can try yourself. You should see the full flash video which should be showing everything. Yeah, it's right here. We'll load it and we'll confirm if it is running correctly. You saw that flash is going to run, which would have recorded the exact execution, the full execution. It ran for 1 minute 46 seconds. You see that the browser is coming up. It launched. You see that it should be on a Linux machine. You see the Firefox one which is running here, Mozilla Firefox, and it is logged in and it logged out and it closed. Exactly, that's what we saw today. And super, it ran completely by itself and took a snapshot, and the snapshot is here. Okay, the next combination is similar combination. What did I do is very simple one. So I tried doing something called for Firefox and Linux, and this is a Chrome and a Mac, right? Combinations are same exactly, except I said I wanted to run the same test in Chrome and a Mac. Let's right click, run test-ng test. Right, so you see it should be running right now in Mac along with the Chrome. You see that it is running in a Mac which is 10.6 and the Chrome version is 35. Let's see the full screen. The interesting information is it takes a while for it to complete the test, and that's why by the time it was very quick, the test would have been completed. So that is exactly, we'll come back and take a look at the video because the test would have been completed, but you see that it is in a Apple Chrome, right? That's exactly the combination we tried to see. The last thing we wanted to learn now is we understood how to run them and in a remote execution, but last thing is how do we run them in parallel in test-ng? That's exactly we wanted to see it now quickly. How do we do that? The best thing is if you don't know test-ng, we'll have a separate classroom session on it. The test-ng XML, this is a test-ng XML, and test-ng XML I am trying to say please run the class with the name webinar is the package, run in Chrome Mac, and webinar is the package, run in Firefox Linux. That's the class names, right? Those are the class names. Run in Firefox for Linux, run in for Chrome. So those are the different combination I said. I will be running 2 threads. So let's say we want to run them parallel. How? Classes. How many times? 2 threads. So one thread will run the Chrome, other thread will run in the Firefox and the Linux. So how do you run this? Right click on the testng, run as testng suite. It is not a single class, run as a suite. So how do we see that running? We come back to the console and we refresh, and you will be seeing 2 different ones which is running. One is a Apple Mac which is running, the other one is Linux. This is the Linux icon. 32 is the Firefox version which is running right now. So you will able to see that exactly by looking at the view full screen, and which will automatically show you the window, right? That's exactly what we saw in the previous cases also. So testng, if you don't know, we'll have a separate session on it. At the moment, testng will allow you to do multi-threading by putting the thread count as how many you want, how you want parallel. That's also it shows. Let's see if the snapshot has come. Yes, you got the snapshot for the Mac. This is a snapshot for the Mac. This is a snapshot for the Linux. So you got both. So by this way, you will be able to run both Chrome and Firefox in different browsers. This is possible also to do it locally. In case same combinations you run different machines, you have to have one Linux machine, one Mac machines, and register to the hub. Automatically you send a signal from here. Instead of this particular source lab code, you will be setting up the code as I shown you in the previous one, which particular grid, where is it running, what is a port, WD hub. Instead of this, you saw that when you are running it in source lab, the syntax is the username and the key at ondemand.sourcelabs.com. This is a port, and this is a WD hub is the same syntax as you saw in the different case, right? Otherwise, no change in the code. The code looks exactly the same, and whichever browser you want to run, you run it, right? And that's how we exactly looked at today. The last thing we wanted to quickly go through is summary, right? We prefer to use grid. Why? We want to run them remote. You saw them running in source labs. We also saw them in running in parallel. One ran for Mac, another ran for Linux in detail. Then we also ran for several combinations, different browsers, different IE versions. All these are possible when you run it in source labs. And steps to do: start the hub, start the node, verify using console. We saw that as well. We changed the WebDriver code to the remote WebDriver. Also, we changed the snapshot, the driver, to the augmented driver. Then we monitor the execution using console. You saw that icon getting colored out, and you saw the browser coming and running in that machine. So by the way, if you wanted to run them in parallel, in remote, the options that we have is using grid and testng would be the option for us to run. By this way, I think we come to a conclusion. We will take 10 minutes to go to our questions and answer sessions. And if you wanted to ask questions, please either post the questions or you have an option to raise your hand. I'll open up the voice and you can answer them, right? So I'll be first looking at your webinar and then see how we have to take the questions first. Right? Quickly, we'll take a look at the questions. Okay, we have got quite a few questions here. And what is the advantage of grid over WebDriver? I think we listened to that. I think we we understood it completely. Right? So if you wanted to ask a question, please ask right now. Venkatesh, I opened your question. Please ask right now.
No, my question is that in testng is the annotation, we can't use more than 10 annotations parallelly. Is it right or not?
You have an options available now. You can have it, but interestingly, why you need so many annotation when you run it in parallel is the first question for you.
No, my question is I want to execute parallelly. 10 annotations means I have written a 10 test cases. One test case, first one annotation for first 10 test annotation for one script.
Okay.
Like I have written 15 test script. No, that time I want to execute parallelly 15. Is it possible in testng?
Yes, very much possible. We are writing like we are running all. For example, see, there is an organization in Russia which is running completely in TestNG for millions and millions of tests. So maybe you have to look at how you organized your annotations thoroughly. And if you wanted our help, just email us. We will help you to see how the annotations. And the question is, if you are looking for something to put all the annotations, I wouldn't recommend you to put all the classes, all the test cases that you want to run under a one single test, right? So split them into multiple classes, and you should be able to do it comfortably well.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we will go to the next question. And I open for Saravanan now. Saravanan, you opened the voice for you. Saravanan is not there online right now, so we will go to the next person. Prabhu. Prabhu, the line is open for you.
Myself Prabhu here, and I'm having a doubt that, for example, how to enable the, for example, I'm having IE11 version in my machine. If you want that, my test case to execute in 10, so how it is possible? Whether should I have my IE11 installed in my machine, or should it will be very easy to go ahead with 11 alone?
No, generally if you look at, because the IE, like Firefox, you cannot have multiple versions in the same machine, right?
Yeah.
So you can have only one version. Yeah, only one version. You can downgrade and keep IE10 in your machine. You can go to your control panel and uninstall and downgrade your IE11 to IE10. It's possible, but still it is. People do. When we talked to the Microsoft guys who developed the IE driver, they said it doesn't really differentiate between IE11 and IE10 unless if you have a very specific expectation from your customer to run it, and specifically in IE10, my recommendation is have your virtual machine with an IE10 and run it.
Okay, it is not possible to have IE11 in my machine and I cannot run the scripts with IE10, is it?
Not possible. You have only IE11, then you can run in your machine only IE11. If you want to use somebody else's machine, very well welcome.
Okay, we have to get IE10 in that and I have to run the scripts remotely.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And Narendra Prasad, your turn now.
Hello, myself Narendra. Actually, just I wanted to know like how to launch the WizGrid. So you showed that WizGrid, it's a jar file actually. So
Correct.
How to launch that WizGrid?
No, you go. I don't know whether if you know where it is available, right? You go to the site, the obviously seleniumhq.org, and there is a download available, right? And you go and download. In the download site, it gives you only the zip file. You unzip and then put the. Let me show you very quickly where to see it. WizGrid. So you download the WizGrid from here, and once you download it, will download the zip file. And once you get the zip file, unzip it, and automatically you get a default WizGrid folder here, which is an executable jar. Just double click that. That will bring you this one. Right? There is no magic in it. It's very simple. Right, I go to the next person. So the next person is Durga Shramani Sampara.
Yeah, Ganesh, can we have this presentation?
We will also send you the videos which will be uploaded into the video will be uploaded to the YouTube, and also the presentation will be tailored and sent to you as a PDF to all the attendees.
To our personal methods, right?
Yes. Whatever you registered to, right? Thanks. Let's go to the next person quickly. We have got few more minutes. Anand Dixit. Anand, line is open for you.
Yeah, hi. So I have one question that when we start a node, that time you mentioned the browser name like Internet Explorer and the version and the platform.
Mm-hmm.
So is it doing some kind of validation whether it's really the same version or Internet Explorer is available or not?
No, there is no validation. Good question. There is no validation available whether that machine has it or not. It doesn't check. But when you are running it, when you're running it, it goes and fails if it doesn't have it. It doesn't launch, you get unreachable browser exception because you try to launch it, but there won't be anything, there will not be any check. So because we are the one who is starting it, and we know where the node, what node has what browsers, hence we don't have a problem.
Okay. So when I execute the test case, it executes the test case based on the parameter I provided, or based on the actual thing?
What you provided. If you provided if it provided matches with the expectation, then it runs. For example, if the other person asked if you're running an IE and you did not provide the version of the IE, then it picks the whatever version available in the machine. But if you provided like Firefox and Firefox itself not installed in that machine, but you registered with the Firefox, but the Firefox doesn't exist, then it will fail.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, Abdul, your line is open. We will extend for 2 more minutes. Abdul, your line is open. If you don't have a question, we'll go to the next person quickly. Sharath, your line is open.
Hello, hi, myself Sharath. Actually, you have mentioned here the platform Linux,
Right.
and the browser Firefox. But
Right.
what difference it considers the browser version? Which version will it take?
Whatever that particular version has, it will take. If you are specifically wanted to have a version, then you say set version, right? If you don't set the version, it will take whatever version is available, latest version available in that particular Linux will be taken. Now, if you wanted to have 23.1, then you specify like this. Got it?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we will go to the last person for today, which will be Santosh. Or we'll give one more to Sairam. Sairam, we are coming to you. Santosh, line is open.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Myself is Santosh. I have a question. Like you said that I can use a console application instead of WebGrid.
No, I meant.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I said you can run it, start it in command prompt instead of the WebGrid. As you saw in the program, we went to the command prompt and started, correct? You can do it command prompt, which is safer than the WebGrid. WebGrid is an utility which is developed recently. Sairam, the last questioner for the day. Go ahead. Okay, we don't have Sairam. So last question, we'll switch to Pranahita.
Yeah, so what's the difference between max instance and max session?
Okay, the difference, good question. Max instances versus max sessions. Max instance is how many browsers this machine will allow you to run. And max sessions is nothing but how many can run at that time. For example, let's say one of the Chrome did not release, and maximum you can run only 2 sessions. So sessions say how many you can run, instances how many are available for running. Right?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. And thank you everyone for joining today, and thank you for your input. If you need any other help, you can welcome to write to us and we'll be happy to work with you. And thank you for staying back, and nice talking to you today. Thank you.